For 4 hours, no one called for help after Natalie Wood vanished. Robert Wagner shut down the captain's attempt to start a search, and the contradictions in his story only deepened the mystery. Then, after more than 40 years of silence, he refused to cooperate when the case was reopened. But now, stunning new evidence comes to light, revealing fresh clues about what really happened on the yacht Splendor. Could Hollywood's most haunting mystery finally be on the brink of being solved? Natalie Wood's life was a blend of extraordinary talent and deep personal heartbreak. Born on July 20th, 1938, in San Francisco, she entered the world as Natalia Nikolaevna Zakharenko. Her parents, Maria and Nikolai, were Russian immigrants who had fled hardship, hoping to build a better future in America. But life in the U.S. was anything but easy. They battled financial struggles and the daunting challenges of starting over. Yet, through it all, Maria held on to a powerful vision. Her daughter was destined to be a Hollywood star. Natalie's journey into acting was anything but ordinary. In 1942, at just 4 years old, her family moved to Santa Rosa, where fate intervened in an unexpected way. A local film shoot was underway, and Natalie's natural charm immediately caught the attention of the crew. She was offered a tiny role, but it was enough to spark what would become a legendary career. Soon after, she landed a brief 15-second appearance in Happyland. Though short, these moments didn't go unnoticed. One man in particular, director Irving Pichel, saw something special in Natalie, and he wasn't about to let Hollywood miss out. For 2 years, Irving Pichel kept in close contact with Natalie's family, always searching for the perfect opportunity to catapult her career forward. His unwavering belief in her talent became a defining force in her early years, laying the foundation for what would become a legendary Hollywood career. Then, one day, Pichel made an electrifying call to Natalie's mother. He had found the perfect role for her. He urged them to bring Natalie to Los Angeles for a screen test. Maria, ever relentless in her pursuit of stardom for her daughter, didn't hesitate for a second. Without looking back, she packed up the entire family and boldly moved to Los Angeles, determined to make Natalie a star. While her father had doubts about uprooting their lives, Maria's unshakable ambition won out. She was convinced that fame and fortune were within Natalie's reach, and she wouldn't let anything stand in the way. By the age of just 7, Natalie had already secured her first major role, playing a German orphan in Tomorrow Is Forever, 1946, alongside Hollywood giants Orson Welles and Claudette Colbert. But stepping into the spotlight at such a young age came with its dark moments. One emotionally intense scene required Natalie to cry on command, but the tears just wouldn't come. Then, in a disturbing and desperate move, her mother did the unthinkable. She ripped apart a butterfly right in front of her. The sheer shock and horror worked. Natalie broke down in tears, delivering a gut-wrenching performance. But the moment left its mark on her. Despite the trauma behind the scenes, her talent was undeniable. Even Orson Welles was astounded, later saying it was almost eerie how she didn't just recite lines. She truly became the character. Natalie's career kept skyrocketing as she continued working with Pichel, landing a role in The Bride Wore Boots. She soon signed with 20th Century Fox, where she played Jean Tierney's daughter in The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, 1947. By now, it was clear. Natalie wasn't just another cute child actor. She had real talent, depth, and screen presence, holding her own alongside some of Hollywood's biggest stars. But her true breakthrough came in 1947 with Miracle on 34th Street. Playing a bright, skeptical little girl who didn't believe in Santa Claus until a charming department store employee, Edmund Gwen, made her wonder if magic was real. Natalie captured hearts everywhere. The film became an instant holiday classic, making her one of the most beloved child stars in Hollywood. Her newfound fame even earned her a special honor, an invitation to appear in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. But behind the glitz and glamour, being a child star wasn't easy. Natalie had to juggle acting and education, following California's strict law requiring child actors to complete at least 3 hours of school each day on set. She hit the books in a classroom on the studio lot, continuing her education until she turned 18. And she wasn't just passing, she was a straight-A student with a particular talent for math. Director Joseph L. Mankiewicz, who worked with her on The Ghost and Mrs. Muir, even called her the smartest child he had ever met. But for Natalie, the praise was bittersweet. She knew the entire film crew had to wait while she finished her schoolwork, and the moment her teacher dismissed her, she raced to the set, eager to make every second count. From the outside, Natalie's life as a child star seemed glamorous, but behind the scenes, it came at a steep price. At just 8 years old, she endured grueling 12-hour workdays, 6 days a week, The emotional and physical toll was overwhelming, yet no one seemed to care about her well-being. The only thing that mattered was getting the perfect shot. Her exhaustion was ignored. Her performance was the priority. Then came the role that changed everything. Rebel Without a Cause, 1955. The film's gripping story of teen rebellion struck a chord with audiences, but it was Natalie's portrayal of Judy that truly stood out. She delivered a performance so raw and emotionally charged that critics couldn't stop raving about it. This wasn't just another role. This was a career-defining moment. Rebel Without a Cause didn't just prove her talent, it cemented her place as one of Hollywood's most gifted actresses. Landing the role in Rebel Without a Cause was far from easy for Natalie. Director Nicholas Ray doubted she could pull off a rebellious teenager. After all, Hollywood had always cast her as the sweet, innocent girl next door. He even considered other actresses like Debbie Reynolds, believing they might fit the part better. But Natalie was determined to prove him wrong. She boldly declared that if he didn't let her audition, she would run away from home and become a real delinquent. Her fearless persistence paid off, and she finally won the role that would define her career. The 1956 Oscars marked a huge milestone for Natalie. She was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Rebel Without a Cause. Though she didn't take home the award, the nomination alone was a game changer. It was proof that she wasn't just a former child star, she was a serious actress, worthy of Hollywood's highest honors. That same year, she won a Golden Globe for Most Promising Newcomer, further cementing her status as a rising star. With the industry finally recognizing her talent, new opportunities came flooding in, and her career exploded to new heights. By 1961, Natalie had officially become Hollywood royalty, starring in two legendary films, Splendor in the Grass and West Side Story. Her performance in Splendor in the Grass was unlike anything she had done before. She played Deanie, a young woman tormented by heartbreak and mental illness, delivering a performance so gut-wrenching that it left audiences stunned. Determined to make the role as authentic as possible, Natalie even visited mental hospitals to study real patients. And when it came time to film one of the most intense scenes, a bathtub breakdown, she poured everything into it. The scene was so raw, so emotionally charged, that it was captured in a single take. The film was a massive success, earning Natalie her second Oscar nomination, this time for Best Actress. It was clear she was no longer just a starlet. Natalie Wood was now one of Hollywood's most powerful leading ladies. Fresh off the success of Splendor in the Grass, Natalie took on one of her most iconic roles, Maria in West Side Story. She played a young Puerto Rican woman caught in a forbidden romance with a member of a rival gang, all while navigating the harsh realities of love and violence. Though her singing voice was dubbed by another performer, her acting was widely praised for its emotional depth and heartfelt vulnerability. The film became a cinematic phenomenon, sweeping the Oscars with 10 wins, including Best Picture. The year 1961 was a career-defining moment for Natalie. With Splendor in the Grass and West Side Story both dominating the box office, she had officially cemented herself as one of Hollywood's brightest stars. And she was only 23 years old. These roles proved she wasn't just a child star turned actress. She was a powerhouse performer, capable of tackling complex and deeply emotional roles. Then, in 1963, she took on yet another bold and groundbreaking project, Love with the Proper Stranger. In the film, she played a woman facing an unplanned pregnancy, a topic that was still considered taboo in Hollywood. But Natalie didn't shy away from the challenge. One scene, a harrowing, improvised moment where her character endures a traumatic abortion attempt, was so raw and gut-wrenching, it left audiences stunned. Her fearless performance earned her a third Oscar nomination, further proving that Natalie Wood wasn't just a star, she was a force to be reckoned with. Despite her soaring success, Natalie began to feel trapped by the roles Hollywood kept offering her. She didn't want to be boxed in or typecast. She craved challenging, complex characters that would push her limits as an actress. In 1966, she made a bold and risky move. She paid a staggering $175,000 to break her contract with Warner Brothers. She even turned down major roles like Barefoot in the Park, believing they weren't deep enough for her. But this decision came with consequences. Stepping away from studio contracts meant fewer opportunities, and soon, Natalie found herself fading from Hollywood's spotlight. The pressure of managing her career while battling personal struggles became overwhelming. Natalie's career took a dramatic turn in 1969, when she made her long-awaited comeback in Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice. After 3 years away from the big screen, her return was nothing short of electrifying. Released on September 17, 1969, the film became an instant box office hit, raking in $31.9 million, a massive success for a movie made on a modest $2 million budget. Natalie took on the role of Carol Sanders, a fearless and modern woman exploring the complexities of open relationships, a bold move for its time. Her standout performance didn't go unnoticed, earning her a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress in a Motion Picture. While her career was soaring, Natalie's personal life took a surprising turn. In 1972, a decade after their high-profile divorce, she remarried Robert Wagner. With this renewed focus on her family, Natalie began stepping back from Hollywood, choosing to prioritize her home life. Throughout the 1970s, she appeared in only 4 films, a sharp contrast to her fast-paced career in the 1950s and 60s. It was a new chapter, but the pull of Hollywood was never far behind. After the split, Natalie fell into a stormy relationship with Warren Beatty. Their passion was undeniable, but so was the drama. Their time together was chaotic, filled with fiery arguments that left Natalie feeling emotionally drained. What seemed like an exciting new chapter quickly turned into a roller coaster of heartbreak. However, Natalie's newfound stability was short-lived. Just 2 years into their marriage, she discovered that Richard had been having an affair with his secretary. Devastated by the betrayal, she immediately filed for separation in August 1971, and by April 1972, their divorce was finalized. Their reunion was unexpected, but for Natalie, it felt like fate. She and Robert Wagner wasted no time rekindling their romance, and by July 16, 1972, they were remarried in an intimate ceremony aboard a yacht. This time around, their relationship seemed more grounded, shaped by the lessons they had learned from their time apart. Then came Thanksgiving weekend, 1981, a trip to Catalina Island meant to be a relaxing getaway on their yacht, Splendor. But what should have been a peaceful retreat turned into one of Hollywood's most haunting mysteries. Natalie Wood disappeared, and hours later, her lifeless body was discovered floating in the water. To this day, questions remain about what truly happened that night, casting a long shadow over the final chapter of Natalie Wood's extraordinary life. That evening, the group dined at Doug's Harbor Reef, a popular restaurant on the island, where they were seen drinking heavily. By the time they returned to the Splendor, tensions had begun to rise. Witnesses recalled hearing raised voices coming from the yacht, and later, Dennis Davern, the yacht's captain, would claim that an intense argument had broken out between Robert Wagner and Christopher Walken, with Natalie caught in the middle. At some point that night, Natalie disappeared. The official story states that she took a small dinghy, the Valiant, out on her own. However, those who knew Natalie found this hard to believe. She was terrified of dark water and wouldn't have ventured out alone, especially in her nightgown, socks, and a down jacket, as she was later found wearing. Despite her disappearance, no one called for help for nearly 4 hours. Instead, Wagner allegedly stopped Dennis Davern from initiating a search, claiming that Natalie was probably just blowing off steam. When they finally contacted authorities, it was too late. At 8 a.m. on November 29, 1981, Natalie's body was found floating in the water, nearly a mile from the yacht. The initial ruling, accidental drowning. But over the years, inconsistencies in Wagner's story, new witness accounts, and forensic evidence would cast serious doubt on that conclusion. Now, decades later, the mystery remains. What really happened that night on the Splendor? For decades, the case remained closed, but in 2011, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department reopened the investigation, citing new evidence. By 2018, the case took a stunning turn when the coroner changed Natalie's cause of death from accidental drowning to drowning and other undetermined factors. Even more shocking, Robert Wagner was officially named a person of interest. So after more than 40 years of silence, cover-ups, and unanswered questions, the case remains open. Could Hollywood's most haunting mystery finally be close to being solved? The timeline of events and the delayed search raised serious concerns about whether Natalie's death was truly an accident. Why did it take Wagner over 4 hours to alert authorities? Why did the yacht's captain, Dennis Davern, later claim that Wagner told him not to turn on the searchlights or call for help right away? As the investigation continued, experts questioned the autopsy findings. Some forensic specialists pointed out that Natalie's bruises were consistent with a struggle rather than simply falling overboard. The deep purple contusions on her arms and legs suggested that she may have been grabbed or restrained before ending up in the water. In 2018, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department officially named Robert Wagner a person of interest. Lieutenant John Carina stated that Wagner was the last person with Natalie before she went missing, and his inconsistent statements over the years only fueled suspicions. Despite these developments, Wagner has never been charged and has refused to cooperate with with the new investigation. To this day, Natalie's death remains one of Hollywood's most chilling unsolved mysteries, leaving many to wonder, was it truly an accident, or was there something far more sinister at play? Lana Wood's revelation sent shockwaves through Hollywood, reigniting discussions about the darker side of the industry and the abuse of power by influential men. According to Lana, Natalie was sexually assaulted by Kirk Douglas that night in 1955, a traumatic event that deeply affected her for the rest of her life. For decades, Natalie had kept the assault a secret, only confiding in a few trusted people. She feared that speaking out would ruin her career, something all too common for young actresses in that era. Even worse, their mother discouraged her from reporting it, believing that exposing a powerful star like Douglas would destroy Natalie's future in Hollywood. When Lana's book was released in 2021, the allegations sparked controversy. Kirk Douglas had died in 2020 at the age of 103, meaning he would never have to answer to the claims. His family refused to comment, while others in Hollywood debated whether the industry had protected him for decades. This revelation added yet another tragic layer to Natalie Wood's life, a life filled with success, heartbreak, and hidden pain. It also fueled discussions about Hollywood's culture of silence and how many young actresses suffered in silence, afraid of the consequences of speaking out. Natalie Wood's story is one of extraordinary talent, resilience, and deep personal struggles. While she became one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses, her life was marked by tragedy, controversy, and unanswered questions. From her early years as a child star to her iconic roles in Rebel Without a Cause and West Side Story, she captivated audiences with her authentic performances and undeniable screen presence. Yet behind the glamour, she faced intense pressures, from the exploitative nature of child stardom to the traumas she endured in Hollywood. The revelations about her past, including the abuse she suffered and the mysterious circumstances of her death, serve as a reminder that the industry has long harbored secrets and injustices. Even today, Natalie's legacy remains both celebrated and shrouded in mystery. She is remembered as a groundbreaking actress, but also as a symbol of the darker realities that many in Hollywood have faced. Her story continues to spark conversations about justice, accountability, and the treatment of women in the entertainment industry. Though she left the world too soon, Natalie Wood's influence on cinema and her impact on future generations of performers endures. Natalie Wood's legacy is one of remarkable talent, enduring influence, and unresolved mystery. As a beloved actress, she captivated audiences with her performances, bringing depth and emotion to every role she took on. From her early years as a child star to her iconic films like Rebel Without a Cause, West Side Story, and Splendor in the Grass, she cemented her place as one of Hollywood's most cherished stars. Yet, her life behind the scenes was far more complicated, from the pressures of fame to personal traumas and ultimately the unanswered questions surrounding her tragic death. Natalie's story is filled